clean themselves on the rocks, on the shallow rocks. And,
That's like only 200 metres from the beach.
Yeah.
Nuts.
And so, we go out all the time, do a lot of fishing because we can get out in any swell. It could be 6 foot and we'll still get out and we'll be out where, other conventional boats won't be able to get out through the swell.
And it's light enough that you can pull it through the sand, really. Park in the car park even.
So
great.
Two people, you can lift the boat, in the air and drag it down the beach. Doesn't even have to touch the sand. So he's been fishing a few times, Jay has, down Fingal there in the gutters. He just... No matter what the swell's doing, that you can turn on a dime, so you can get yourself out of trouble really quickly.
Wow.
If a wave having a break, then they haven't got a transom, they've got a steel transom, so the water just flows straight out the back of them. So he just goes fishing, and the old wave comes over.
Say that again. What does that mean?
The transom in the back of the boat. It's
the thing that holds the motor on, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
The vertical hardboard. What's that? Timber or something?
Well, ours is a steel.
Yeah, ours is steel.
Oh, you said that. Okay.
But it's open, so most boats, like your average fishing boat's got a big wooden transom or a fiberglass transom. So
because you've got floats. Okay, I'm trying to piece it together. Because you've got floats, that means you can have open. So it means your feet are getting wet.
That's right. Yeah,
right,
you sit in the floor of the boat, and they're obviously designed so if there's water in the boat, it can drain straight out the back.
Right.
And so if you go fishing and stuff like that, like Jay was saying, the water just drains out of the boat, so you can pretty much go anywhere. They're good boats.
We tow them up to Fraser every year, twice a year, Fraser Island, and take them up there, go fishing and crabbing. And they're like the same size as, small little tinny, and they're only 80 kilos with a 150 kilo engine, whatever it weighs. And, we take them up there and go crabbing, fishing, such a versatile boat. Then I come home, whack on the race prop, put the prop guard on and get the helmets on, we go racing. And that's the sort of, that's why I bought that boat, is because I like doing all those sort of things. And then racing is just a bonus for me.
That's cool. So, right, you get So you get a boat. You end up with a boat.
Like do everything with them. They're
it's
great.
Nuts.
Well,
there were 500,000 people in the Gold Coast, and 12 to 15 people are currently racing. I mean, we can change that in seconds.
Crazy, isn't it?
Isn't it?
And you probably got 30 guys that do flat water stuff, up and down the boardwater trying to get max speed runs. Or
and
racing the surf boys.
And I'll bet you have guys from motocross, or a little bit. Everyone loves to race. And I took my boy out to Queensland Motor QMP.
Yeah.
That was got to be 2 hours. I can't remember how long the
About
drive
an
was.
hour and a half,
Boat, is
I
it?
think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We're
Too
both,
far again,
We've both got motocross backgrounds.
Yeah.
Did it as kids growing up. But for people like us, I know there's a lot of people around who love racing motorbikes and speedway, whatever it is. It's a different dimension of racing, and it's just that little bit different, and it's just so much fun. If people, just actually give it a crack, for those people who do it in the river, give it a crack. It's a real adrenaline rush of a sport.
Yeah,
that's for sure. And
things like, I always go back to team stuff. It's important for blokes to be involved in things. It just really is for happiness. Yeah. You always should be chasing something.
Yeah.
If you're unhappy in your job, then all you need to do is get in something out of your job where it's forever. This stupid cover band. It's not really even about that. It's about trying to get the next best gig. That endless chase. Yeah. That's what we're all doing it for.
Yeah.
Trying to get the better gig, trying to get the better thing. We're in a little team.
Yeah.
So be that. We could be racing Thundercats tomorrow and be the same. The endless chase. So we need a better prop. This just as long as you're talking and creating little things.
Yeah, it's always ongoing, that's for sure. There's always those little extra costs to try and get that extra 1% on the other competitors.
Speaking of that, how do you then, I would imagine myself going, okay, great, got a new prop. Hey Barry, I'm stand on the beach, time me going from here to here, and then pull in and put the new prop on, time me going from here to here. Is that how you test anything? Do you do any testing? Or
me and my brother a few years ago did a lot of testing. We started just on flat water, and you gotta sort of create simulated surf. So you got to have the prop guard on, obviously the same fuel you carry it, things like that, and put your prop on and go for a buzz and just try and get top speed readings.
How do you do that? What do you got? Like a...
Just a handheld GPS or something like that on your phone or
nice.
whatever, and just go down the Tweed, down Toboggan River, and just hold it pinned and
Yeah, right.
see what the top speed you can get out of your props, and then
GPS.
it all changes in the surf, of course, because you got waves and
Yeah,
winds.
but at least,
so-
okay, well, it's something another inexpensive thing to play with.
Yeah.
What's that with, like a triathletes app? How would you do that? What sort of app?
The last time we did it, I think we used a GPS, a Garmin GPS out
Yeah,
of the car,
Garmin,
just
okay.
put it in a little sealable bag and
I
went
got
for a fang.
I downloaded an app on the App Store, and it just goes through GPS for the phone. And it gives you a speed.
Okay.
Speed tracker, it's called.
Yeah.
Speed track. Yeah, I used
There
to
you go.
use that.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, prop guards. So someone honing those things, making them go faster?
No, what we got there is they're only available through the club, so you got to buy them through the Thundercat club, and then you're allowed to work them, so to speak, to a certain thickness.
Right.
So you can round the edges of the veins and whatnot, but if they're any thinner than a certain gauge that we've got, that you got to throw them away. So if you
Okay.
thin them out too much, and
Okay. So there's a
You know.
bit of safety. You got to, hey, come on, you got to do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want them sharpened up too much. Obviously, the sharper, the faster they are going to be in the water. But
Yeah.
there's got to be a line drawn in the sand. So
Sure.
To speak.
And do they make them cavitate? Is that the word? You know,
Um,
prop guards would naturally make
it's
air.
drag. Yeah, drag. Yeah.
Drag, okay.
They create a lot of drag, and with obviously it bolsters the bottom of the engine, so when you're going along, it holds the nose down of the boat a lot more as well. So
Okay.
that's why when you do your testing, a lot of the guys got their props on, and we got a 14-inch prop, and we got 75k an hour. I said, yeah, righto. Well, did you have your guard on? Oh no. Well,
Right.
you may as well scrap that test run, buddy. Like
Okay.
you got to put it under.
That's interesting because you'd have to have your guard on with a prop to know, because there would be some sort of air, right?
Yeah, it
Doesn't
definitely
air-
create cavitation, like
Yeah.
turbulence around your prop. Yeah.
Yeah, because my old man had a big ass shark cat houseboat
Yeah.
in the 80s, and that was his number one problem. Like, you give it too much, and the just the way this old shark cat was set up, it would just create cavitation. So it was
Yeah, just
the
slip.
worst thing for like a year and a half for him. It's just blowing
Yeah.
up air.
The way to get away from that is by angling the end of your tail of your prop. You curve it over. That way, it just sort of like grips into the water.
Yeah,
Especially when you're surfing when you're racing in the surf and you get the white water that's pretty high in air quality. That you need something with a bit of grip going through that. So,
So you can actually change I was just thinking with props that you just sharpen them, but you can actually get him to turn.
There
turns
is.
the pitch, so the angle of the prop.
Wow.
And then you'd want it to, right at the tip, you want it to sort of curl. We call it cupping. And that cupping is your grip. So as you twist the throttle, that's when instead of just going, you want it to go, grrr, just grip in, grunt, and take off.
I
And
can almost see it.
The more, you can go too far as well. So if you put too much cupping on a prop, it'll
Yeah.
slow you down because it's creating drag
too
Yep.
much.
because the lip of the prop's folded over. So you got to find a happy medium, and then you got your engine height as well. So
Have you guys ever looked on YouTube? Is there like a nerd out on? I bet someone's made a great video on prop tech in like a water, like a.
Never really looked on
I'm gonna do it
YouTube. Hey, we
tonight.
just experimented ourselves and sort of just learned ourselves, and
Right.
which we're happy to share with most of the competitors. Like we let them know, look, this is how we do
Why?
it, and we want competitive guys. There's no fun running rings around people or them
Yeah.
running dead last and not being happy. So we want everyone to be competitive.
Is there a trophy?
We do get trophies normally for like the premier events up the Sunshine Coast for Markula, the state titles and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll get a small trophy and that little cash as well, like for the hot lap. So
Is there an Aussie championship?
there used to be clubs around Australia, but a lot of them I think have gone broke due to members just not, people lost interest, whatnot. We're the only club still running in Australia, so
Wow. Well, it's
Yeah.
starting. Okay.
I'd love to make it big again. That's for sure.
Yeah. Who was I talking to? Jeremy Rogers and Adam Yates, downhill skateboard racers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you could argue the same situation. Diehards
Yeah.
that, and they've got these guys just flog down massive roads, and they have races every year. There's a big world event they always do. I said, what do you do for your Aussie title? And they go, it's, there used to be a series in the end of the series. And I went, I said, do you know, in sprint car racing, there's series going on all the time, right? But it's too difficult as Aussies to go and race over here in Perth and then go to Adelaide. That's the World Series. We have one of those.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the Australian title, it's a 1 or 2 day event. And no matter what, whoever wins that race, it's once a year. You're the Aussie number one, and you can wear that Aussie number one on your car.
Yeah.
Right? And I said to him, that's what you guys need to do. That's what builds. Same with you guys in Thundercat racing. You need to have one race every year where it's the Aussie titles. And I don't give a stuff if you couldn't make it and you're the best because you weren't there that day. You're not Aussie number one because the public love to see a big number one flag that's on the side of a boat, and everyone wants to have that number.
Yeah.
It creates
drive to get it. Yeah.
But it's so simple. Yeah, it's really just another race.
Yeah.
But everyone wants to have that number one. I challenge you.
Yeah, we have a state title every year.
Yeah,
and unfortunately,
do you have numbers?
We've just started to do race numbers, but normally they're identified by their colours on their boats and the team names and whatnot, like just their driver names. But the state titles is normally run on 2 days, 2-day carnivals. We've had them previously down Coffs Harbour.
Who's the winner? Do you know? The current champion?
Well, the Marcoola event was the state titles. It got called off just recently.
Okay.
But before that, for the last, I think, 3 years is coincidentally myself and my brother.
Last 3 years?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So it's luck on the day, really, to be honest. Conditions suit us.
Come on, mate.
Sometimes, Jay's been
it's
trying.
No luck.
But
you make your own luck.
Yeah, that's it.
You'll get your chance one day, Jay.
I'll get it.
Maybe when we retire.
Okay, well, wouldn't you love to have the Aussie number one flag on your boat?
We've been trying to talk to there's a few down in Sydney. I think that
there is.
might have been
Wankers.
I'd love them to come up and have a crack at it. I think they've sort of started up like a little Facebook club, but nothing too serious. So it'd be good to meet halfway at Coffs or somewhere like that and do a bit of a maybe.
We live on the Gold Coast. Who doesn't want to come to the Gold Coast anyway?
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's everyone. A great excuse to tow an 80-kilo boat. By the way, do you deflate them? Is there any tech in that?
We do. Yeah,
definitely.
Okay. Any special air you stick in there?
You're probably depending.
Hydrogen?
I'm sure someone has.
You can put too much in it and they become too hard. So they'll want to bite through a wave too much or something like that. But you definitely if you say for instance you put 6 pound in them, we put 6 pound in the main.
6 pound, like a sprint car right rear. Okay.
Yeah,
the old Hoosier.
Yeah,
and through the day you might go up to 7.5, 8 pound because of the heat. Especially in the.
This is more good stuff. Okay, yeah.
You got to be careful of that. Sitting in the sun all day, they'll definitely...
What do you have? What sort of pump on the beach? Just like a foot pump?
No, just your normal car. Those 12-volt car pumps you use.
With a gauge on it.
Yeah, just use that sort of stuff.
That's it. Even some of the guys have got like kite pumps, just the hand pumps.
Okay.
They top up their boats on the beach. It's easy enough done.
Right, so there's another bit of tech there.
Yeah.
Well, you know how in Speedway how important tyre pressures are.
Oh yeah.
It's like everything.
Yeah.
You can see the people who haven't raced too much and they've got their boat way down and they're just like a little lump, going through the wave.
Flex through the waves.
Yeah, okay.
You want the boat to cut, but you don't want to be too inflated because you will take away the strength of the boat eventually because they are, glued together, really. Seam welded, sort of some boats, but there's a midway point that you don't want to be too inflated.
Well, I think you've revealed pretty much everything to everyone in your... everyone will be exactly as fast as you guys.
Everything I learned off them.
Yeah?
They want people to be competitive, and a couple of our mates we've got in, they've been racing probably 5 years longer than me.
Right.
And we've, talking to Jay's brother, he does most of the prop and all that sort of stuff. Yep. Talking to him, and he's happy to talk about how his props are, what pitches, and
cool.
And that's how I've sort of not copied, but I'm a different weight, so I've got my props at probably sharper pitches, just so I can get out of the water a bit quicker and different stuff like that. Different, engine heights. They might have theirs a bit higher than what I like.